In 2014, the Guardian started releasing every single year the next generation, which was pretty much the best players around the world at the age of 17 or 18. And they had players from all around the world, from Argentina, France, Japan, even Singapore, Turkey. And these were players they would say, watch out for. These are guys that are the future of the game, possibly. Like it says here, from Christian Eriksen with an ego to the Serbian Radamel Falcao, the Guardian identifies 40 of the best players in the world born in 1997. Now, I was born in 1997, so this is a little bit of a, not sad, just weird for me. Players this age, if they made it to a high level, they'd be pretty good players, if not close to world class, or not world class, but to elite players. And it's really the age where you're getting to the point where you have a huge impact for your team. Now, not every player is like Mbappe or Haaland, where they were outstanding at the age of 18. Most players take a few years, need some years of first team football to really make an impact on their team. But if we look right here, we do have the most valuable players born in 1997. And all these guys are really important players for their national teams. Like, you're seeing them having a big impact at the Euros or at the Copa America. Are we going to see much of these players in the next generation one? Who knows? But we're going to look at each and every single one of them and rank them on a tier list. S, A, B, C, D, or fell off the face of the earth. Because there are some players that literally, it's hard for some of them to find information about nowadays. First guy, Waido Vadala. I'm not really sure who this guy is. And of course, every year they had an update on these players. And in 2019 was the last update for this group of players. I only played 3 games in the Argentinian Primera Division. He's still at Boca Juniors. Oh, actually, no, he's not at Boca Juniors anymore. He's at Club Atletico Sarmiento. As you can tell from his Wikipedia page, oh, it's a bit bare. So he was part of the deal with Juventus that saw Carlos Tevez go to Boca Juniors. It says he's without a club, though. It's a D. It might be even worse than a D. He doesn't even have a club anymore. He got released. He played in the USLC? What? I'm gonna change my decision on this. He fell off the face of the earth. That does suck. But we'll move on. Move on to an Australian, Daniel De Silva. Now, I do recognize this name, but he started at Perth Glory, was one of the top players in the Under-20 World Cup. United, Everton, Barcelona, Roma were interested in him, and it was described that he can literally make a decision when the ball comes to him on where the ball's going to go with his first touch, said his former coach. But the latest update we have, it was a frustrating season on loan at league runners-up Sydney FC, so he obviously went back to Australia. He saw limited game time because of injuries, non-selection, scoring just twice. Back now at Mariners, De Silva needs to reward his obvious talent with a big A-League season. So this is Daniel De Silva, plays for MacArthur FC in the A-League. Yeah, this is just a fairly new club. I mean, he got consistent game time. I mean, 4 goals, 3 assists. Not the worst thing in the world. My guess is he's solid A-League player, but I guess it just never worked out for him in Europe. He had a knee injury in 2015, 2016 that took him out for 100 days. Yeah, he still plays. I was thinking C as well, like a solid player in his league, not a disaster at all. Didn't quite reach the heights that I guess was expected by this time, but I mean, he can still become a good player. Gotta keep in mind, not these players aren't even in their prime. But moving on, we got Belgian. Oh. Okay, we know Yuri Tielemans. This will be an easy one. You have to be blind if you don't know Yuri Tielemans. Tielemans, we don't need to do much research. We know he plays for Leicester City nowadays. Made a 40 million move from Monaco. Hype he got when he was younger was insane. Like, he was destined to be like the best midfielder in the world when he was 17 years old or 16 or something when he played for Anderlecht. Okay, we'll put him in S for now. We'll see how the rest of the list goes. But next up, we got a couple Brazilians, which is pretty exciting. I mean, on this list, like, you always have some nations that get more players than others. Usually, they're pretty good at guessing what countries are going to be developing good players. Like, there's 3 France players here, and obviously France are developing a boatload of talent. England as well. Malcolm Philippe. Okay, yeah, this is the Malcolm from Barcelona. So this guy was a very promising player at Bordeaux. A lot of talent. People really hyping him up. He was supposed to make a big move to Roma and literally was supposed to go on a plane to Roma. They're waiting for him there. He never arrived. And he ended up going to Barcelona, which took Roma off guard, and it didn't work out for him at Barcelona, and he's now at Zenit St. Petersburg, which is still a good club. He's worth 22 million, so it's not bad. I think any player going to Barcelona from like 2016 to 2019 who weren't like established star players were not going to have a good time at Barcelona. And even some of the star players aren't having the best times. In Ligue 1, 35 games, 12 goals, 7 assists. Like, those are great numbers. You expect him to at least translate that a little bit to his next club. But yeah, I think Barcelona was just too high of a next step, and it was difficult for him. He didn't really ever get a chance to play, but when he did, he made a difference. Would like to see him in a top 5 league again at a different club because he's got that talent. He can still become a great player. Russian league, he's not really scoring a lot. One season, he had a hip injury where he missed 22 games and then had multiple injuries the next season. Russian league is quite defensive, so I mean, the low goal scoring is not the most surprising thing in the world. He's a low B. Low B. I wouldn't put him in the same category as De Silva because he's still getting game time. I'm sure he's showing signs of promise. Brazilian number 2, which was Gerson. I'm pretty sure this guy played for Roma. A quick left-footed attacking midfielder who has yet to feature properly for Fluminense. Gerson has already attracted the attention of Europe's top clubs. Yeah, he did move to Roma in January 2015. It says he was a regular in Roma's matchday squads. He had a frustrating time apparently and is back in Brazil. And I remember there was rumors about him getting sold. Yeah, he got sold to Olympique Marseille. Yeah, because I remember he was doing very well in the from Flamengo. He made a 25 million euro move. Okay. Yeah, he hasn't played in Ligue 1 yet, so he's just made the transfer. I'll put him under Malcolm. Still has to prove something, but he made a big move. Could become a solid player at Marseille. Alright, now we get to go to some obscure nations, which not really nations you think of as Wonderkids in recent years, but Bulgaria had one guy here. Božidar Krajev, who played for Levski Sofia. He's attacking midfielder. He was the brightest prospect in Bulgaria at the time. Scored 70 goals in 60 games? What? And at one point was close to joining Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy. Stoichkov was praising him, saying he's best when dribbling at speed, but I especially appreciate his unselfishness and willingness to play for the team. Talents like him are born once in a decade. And he joined Michelin in 2017 for 400,000. Then joined Portuguese side Gil Vicente on a season-long loan. Okay. And so this is the guy. Lots of hair. Still at Michelin. Plays as a attacking midfielder. Can play on the wing. Market value is 1.3 million. Didn't even really play that many games in the Portuguese league. 14 matches, less than 500 minutes. I've got to say, this is just C tier. He's in Europe for a good club. Isn't really playing that much though. Had to take some loans. I'll put him below the Australian. Alright, next guy. Li Zhongyi. There are high hopes for Li at the home of the Asian champions, a team better known for buying rather than developing talent. As far as midfielders go, he seems to have a full package, strong with an engine, built for box-to-box activities, and a football brain that seems to get into dangerous positions in the opposition penalty area. So he was at Guangzhou Evergrande. He was still there in 2015. And we can see these updates are very short. In 2019, he was released by Guangzhou Evergrande and plays in the Chinese League 2. He's not even on this website. What if we Google his name? Does he pop up in Google? Now we find him on this transfer market profile. He's worth 55,000. League 2A, played 9 games only. Plays for Inner Mongolia Kawashan. I pronounced that so poorly. This guy, not only did he fall off the earth, at least this guy was in the 2nd division of Argentina. This guy is in the 2nd division of China. Might be even worse than the 2nd division. It's the 3rd tier of China. Next up, we got a Colombian, so that's exciting. Alvaro Sanchez from Deportivo Cali. Top scorer with 36 goals in Colombia's under-17s championship at 15 years of age. So obviously there must have been a lot of hype for this guy in the country. Quick, skillful with a touch of Borussia Dortmund's Adrian Ramos. I mean, I don't know if you want to use him as a comparison. Didn't have the greatest time at Dortmund. Oh no, he got an ACL injury. Ay. And that's the sad thing with a bunch of these talents, especially when they get an ACL injury like this. It's really hard to recover after an ACL injury when you're in such a young age like this. 2018 update, his career has dropped off a cliff after he tore an ACL in 2015. Still owned by his club, but again loaned to a Colombian 2nd division side where he's in and out of the first team. And he was released in 2019. His club is unknown. Literally, there's nothing known about him since 2019. He's got a Wikipedia page. Yeah, they don't have anything here. He is known to be included in the Guardians Next Generation 2014. Yeah, I agree with you guys. He fell off the face big time. And that's just the thing that sucks about this. Like, dude was incredibly talented. Like, the amount of goals he was scoring at youth level here is just insane to read about. And just ACL injury, and boom, he's never back to the same player. Yeah, I have to say that's the worst one because he doesn't even have a club right now. But let's move on. We got 2 Croatians. Well, that's interesting, and I have a feeling I know one of them. Ante Korich. We were talking about this guy earlier in stream. This guy was so hyped up. He's actually born a day before me, which is insane. He was supposed to be like the next up on the list with Modric, Kovacic. And there was also Halilovic, who was super hyped up. But apparently he did have attitude problems. It says here, injuries and attitude problems might have hampered his development, but in all honesty, he has not improved any of his shortcomings and is not any better now than he was 2 or 3 years ago. That was a 2017 update. It still says he's at Roma, but he's obviously not played there. Ante Korich, the young Luka Modric, played in Slovenia? I mean, none of his loans looked like it went anywhere at all. It's an easy D. Easy D. Oh, you hate to see it. Nikola Vlasic, I'm pretty sure we saw him at the Euros for Croatia. I think he plays in the Russian league. Yeah, he plays for CSKA Moscow. I've heard good things about him. He's been rumored to go to the Premier League for a while. Yeah, this guy is good. He's definitely high B, low A. I'm going to put him high B. I wouldn't be mad about putting him in low A though. We'll see how everything else goes. He did flop at Everton though. I mean, he might have flopped, but he was also very young at the time and has rebounded very well. Let's go to a Danish guy. Will this guy be a guy we recognize from the Euros? No, I do recognize this name. Christian Eriksen with an ego. Okay. His good vision, great dribbling abilities. It's very tempting, but I need to watch out, he says. One wrong club switch and my whole career could be ruined. Became a regular in 2017 and made a move to Ukraine and wasn't a regular starter and was hit by injuries. He's at NEC Nijmegen, so he's in the Dutch league now. What happened? He moved to Kiev for 4 million, went on loan to Nijmegen after not getting probably enough playing time. So he's already getting playing. Oh wait, did he even play it? What? Oh, okay, he just made a loan move to that club. Okay, so he made a move to a good club, not a top 5 league or anything, but to a solid club, but he hasn't really been playing games. I'm gonna put him in C. Yeah, I'll put him there. Actually, no, I'll put him above the Silva. It is coming home. Big Dominic Solanke. Of course, highly rated at Chelsea. He was the top goal scorer at England's Under-20 World Cup, I think in 2017. No, he wasn't the top goal scorer, but he was the best player in the tournament. Let's just scroll down to the awards here. It did come home in this tournament though, where England defeated Venezuela 1-0. The golden ball was given to Dominic Solanke. Saw Federico Valverde at this tournament as well, and Josh Sargent. So he made the move to Liverpool. Really struggled to get game time. Struggled to actually score goals for them and ended up getting sold to Bournemouth for a pretty high sum. So he did score 15 goals in the championship, which isn't bad to be honest. I think he can still become a solid player. I always saw him as like a B-Tech Lewandowski, who like had a good first touch, was good at laying it off, but obviously didn't really develop, and he was maybe more of a C-Tech Lewandowski, which I'm not gonna put him D. I think that's a little too harsh, but he is starting to score goals now for Bournemouth, and I think that's a little better than the Bulgarian we have on the list. Yeah, I'm gonna put him high, the highest C. I still think he can become a good goal scorer. Nothing extraordinary, but like someone you can rely on 10-ish goals in the Premier League season in the future. That's just how I see it. I still like the player. Oh gosh, Ryan Ledson. Does anyone remember this guy? Identified by Roberto Martinez as Everton's next series local-born, home-nurtured midfield talent after Jack Rodwell and Ross Barkley. Not really great names to follow up on, really. He was nicknamed Lego. Only a year after Roberto Martinez predicted the 19-year-old would have a first-team role at Everton, the midfielder dropped into League One in 2016. And in 2019, his update, he's a regular midfielder for Preston during the 2018-2019 season. He ended the campaign with a 4-game ban for a red card following a chest-high tackle on Wigan's Pardon me? What the hell? This guy is just a menace. Well, that isn't a good tackle. Still at Preston North End in, I presume that's the championship? Yep. I mean, he's a regular starter in the championship, a mid-table midfielder in the championship. Yeah, I think this one's pretty simple. D. I mean, I guess we can put him in S for the tackle. But yeah, D. I mean, expected to be playing for Everton at this point. Is in the championship now. Playing for a mid-table club there. D is a bit harsh. It's not as bad as this guy. I mean, I can understand low C, but I'm going to stick with high D. Let's move on. Vive la France. Let's go. France. Oh my. I have a few things to say about this, and this is the guy you can say a lot about. Rennes, highly rated there at the club. Like, the dude was two-footed, score, pass, anything with both feet. Extremely talented dribbler. Ended up getting a great transfer to Dortmund, where he had 6 goals and 12 assists for Dortmund. There's him and Mbappe coming up at the time, and Mbappe was more of a goal scorer, Dembele was more of a creator. I honestly thought Dembele would have the better career to Mbappe, because I thought this guy was probably the most talented player I've seen, at least around his age group, but this guy did have attitude problems. The attitude problems did get him a transfer to his dream club Barcelona for 100 and something million. Still has a market value of 50 million. Injury history, that's a long list, which he does still get good numbers for Barcelona, but he is running out on the contract. They do want to get rid of him. And also, he has said some racist things, which his apology was a bit of a disgrace. Talent-wise, I still think he is like up here, but injuries would knock him down to A for me, and then the racist stuff just knocks him down to B, because fuck that, man. His contract's running out as well, so Barcelona are not going to get the most value out of that 100 and so million. Bit unfortunate though, I always thought he was going to be one of the best. Moving on, Jean-Kevin Augustin. Now, we just looked at the 2017 U20 World Cup. Scored 4 goals in the tournament. Kevin Augustin was part of Paris Saint-Germain's academy, did get a move to Leipzig. Went on loan to Leeds. Leipzig had filed a claim against Leeds over the aborted transfer. Gee, this was recent. What was the fallout of this? He was loaned to Leeds when Leeds were in the championship, but Leeds ended up not doing it, and Leipzig got baby rage mad at them. So the judgment's not yet final, but apparently they're siding with Leipzig. So we'll see what happens with that. So he's surplus to requirements at Nantes. This seems like a pretty solid C to me. I mean, promising player, scored a lot of goals at a youth tournament. Ended up not really scoring a bunch of goals at senior level. Played 3 matches in Ligue 1, which is pathetic. Injury history, not much of an injury history either. The thing is, he's like barely playing any games for like a mid-table to lower mid-table Ligue 1 side. But I have a hard time seeing this guy playing in the top division of France in the near future, really. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going to a worse team than Nantes or even in Ligue 2. Not ideal, but yeah, see. Maxime Baila Lopez. Okay, yeah, this guy was very highly rated at Marseille. Very short midfielder, but very good technically. I think he ended up getting sold to Sassuolo. I think he's done decent there. The deal was made official, 2 million. Wow, I'm sure there's some loan fees on there as well, but that's not a bad deal for them. Did he play quite a bit? 29 games. Sassuolo, of course, finished 8th. Compared to what we have so far, probably in between Malcolm and Vlasic. Like, he's not playing for a top club, but he's also actually getting good minutes. Benjamin Henriques, or Henriques, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that. This guy, oh man, was a very promising fullback for Leverkusen, but despite having several talents on their team that were developing well, he decided to move to a different club. And in the season he moved, Monaco, I think, nearly got relegated and lost his starting place at Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, got sold for 20 million euros to Monaco. Oh, he's at Leipzig now, really? When did this happen? Okay, I did not know that. Good for him. Played 13 matches. I'd probably put him above Lopez. I'm more intrigued to see if he can become a regular starter at Leipzig next season. Benedict Gimber. I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea who this guy is. He was at Hoffenheim's academy, very strong center back, by all accounts, really nice guy as well. Awarded the Fritz Walter medal in gold for the best 17-year-old this August. His development was halted a bit when he got injured. He was at Regensburg, mainly playing more as a defensive midfielder now. He played a good amount of games in the second Bundesliga. Did Regensburg get promoted? No, I'm thinking of a completely different team. They got 14th. To me, he sounds like a D. Do you have any bad injuries? Only early on in his career, nothing too serious later on. He does have some recurring calf problems though, so that's not ideal. I'm gonna say D for him, because Ledson was here. Ledson is a mid-table midfielder. I'm putting him above Korich, behind Ledson. Getting a good amount of minutes, but hasn't really developed into what was probably expected back in 2014. Greece is Interesting one because they haven't really qualified for a tournament in recent years. Azaro's Lamproo. Now, does this sound familiar? It kind of does, but I'm not really sure why. In his under 17 team, he scored 20 goals. Great vision, always looked to play the perfect through ball, mainly with his right foot. He's not afraid to try flicks and tricks. Scored 8 goals and 11 assists for Fortuna Sittard. He's still a PAOK. I mean, played a little bit for both of the sides in the previous season. Had a solid season in Eredivisie, but hasn't really built up on that. That seems like a C tier to me, honestly. Sure, we'll put him above the Bulgarian. So at least he did have a good season somewhere. Federico Bonazzoli. Bonazzoli, I do remember this name. Second youngest ever player to represent Inter in Serie A. He made his debut as a 16-year-old and 11 months. He got sold to Sampdoria. The owner said he's an important investment. So he was at loan at Torino and returned to Sampdoria. 20 matches played, 2 goals, 2 assists, nothing special. Scored 6 goals for Sampdoria in the season before. Seems like a guy who can probably develop into a solid striker. Nothing great yet, but I will put him IC. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe low B. Daisuke Sakai, pressed at the 2013 U17 World Cup. So he was still at Oita and was relegated to the 3rd Japanese league and still hasn't gotten more starts. Bench player. Apparently he did better at the underage national team, but still didn't get playing time in the 3rd division of Japan. So that is really weird to me. He got a failed move to Belgium and played more in the 2nd Japanese league. Then he joined a 3rd division Japanese side. Jeez. They were praising this guy earlier, saying he was willing to improve significantly. Now he's at Samut Prakan City. Low D, you guys are saying he's in the Thai league? What? I think this is a fall off the place of the earth. I do agree. Like, let's look at Japanese players born in 1997. So 1997 wasn't the best year for Japan. But you have all these guys worth more than him, and you have to go to the 96th player for the 1997s. I'll put him behind the Chinese guy. The thing is, I don't think he fell off the face of the earth. He stayed at his original club when they got relegated to the 3rd Japanese league. Mexico, they always have talented players coming up, but a problem with a lot of them sometimes is they never leave the Mexican league, and that's a lot I've heard is due to them getting good contracts in Mexico and things like that. But let's read about Eric Aguirre. Wait, what? I thought I said he was a drug trafficker, but no, he's from an area of that. Technically gifted, regular star in Mexico's 1st division, and names Andres Iniesta as his role model. Played well at the Olympic Games in 2016. Got a move to Pachuca, okay, that's pretty good. And helped them win the CONCACAF Champions League. Okay, this is looking pretty good, to be honest. He is still at Pachuca, and is supposedly playing a left back now. Really? I mean, I presume he's just playing a bunch in Mexico, making some good money. Seems like it. I'll put him C. But let's move on to the Netherlands. We got two players from here. Oh. Fuck, that's sad. Yeah, if you don't know the story of Nuri, yeah, he played 15 matches in 2016-2017 season. Looked like he was gonna really break out for Ajax in the next season, but he suffered a cardiac arrhythmia during a friendly against Werder Bremen, collapsed on the pitch. He suffered serious and permanent brain damage, and so the chances of recovery was nil. Supposedly he's able to communicate with his eyes now or something like that. So he's awake, he's asleep, he's eating, he's burping, but he's not getting out of bed. At good times there is form of communication, then he moves his eyebrows. He just can't keep it up for long. That seems to be top sport for him, he said. I'm not going to rank this one. I think that it would be very disrespectful to actually rank this. Best wishes to him and his family as well. Let's move on. We have Yari Sherman. Gradually developed into the most promising youngster of Feyenoord's academy and has produced so many great players in the past, such as Van Bronckhorst, of course, Van Persie. Signed for FC Dordrecht in the 2nd tier. So it doesn't seem like things have went too well for this guy, in his career at least. Alright, so he's still at FC Dordrecht. I presume that's in the 2nd division of Eredivisie. Yeah, it is. Playing quite a bit in the 2nd division at least. D tier, I would say. Hasn't quite developed, but I mean, still playing a lot of football though, and that's important. Sander Svensson. Norway's best prospect. Martin Odegaard was born in 1998, but Svensson is not far behind. Played a lot as a substitute. Potential is clearly there. Sanders wise and a serious player who's willing to listen. He'll make it very far if he continues like this. He was a key player for Molde. Moved to Sweden. Became an instant hit. 3 goals in his first month. Played 10 goals for the club that finished 9th in 2017. Struggled to get in the starting 11 in their title race. Oh, actually, he moved to Odense in Denmark. Okay, why did they put him on loan? He scored 10 goals for them in the 2019-2020 season. And then another loan there. This is so confusing. It's very confusing to me. Okay, so we put Svensson in C. I'm putting him in C in the middle here. David Kobnachsky. I remember this guy because this guy was the same age as me. And he was Polish and I'm Polish as well. So I followed this guy since he was like around this time, maybe earlier than this actually. He was a promising striker for Poland. I think he came from a pretty rich family. And I'm pretty sure his mom had him stay at Lech Poznan. Injuries just kind of halted his development several times. He went to Sampdoria. He went to, I think, Dusseldorf. If we go to his injury history, it's not ideal. Like, we're going to see a bunch of injuries here. Yeah. He got a decent amount of playing time in the second division. Again, I'll put him in C. Yeah, I'll put him behind Big Dom. And I'm going to move Vlasic up to A. Because we have caught in no A's. Like, this has been a very mid-heavy list. Ruben Neves. Let's go. Ruben Neves.
Ruben Neves.
Youngest captain in Champions League history, I'm pretty sure. Made a move to Wolves like most Portuguese players did. Very good player for Wolves. Maybe hasn't developed as much last season. But still, I think one of the better midfielders in the Premier League. Definitely think he can reach the top in the next few years for sure. Yeah, I think that's an easy A for me. Romania, we got Christian Manea. A lot of good talents coming from Romania, to be honest, in recent years. None really have made a big impact in Europe yet, though. Says he has everything: smart, strong, skilled, versatile, and most important, he knows what he wants in life. Okay, which is? Okay, moved to Belgium, to Mouscron. Had a tough time there. Returned to Romania, to Cluj, and became one of the better defenders in the league. He actually won the league title with Cluj. Okay, this is actually not bad. Especially if you're a young player like him. So he got sold to a Cyprus team actually, then got loaned to Mouscron. Cluj ended up buying him, finished second, first. So top side in Romania, regularly playing, could probably make a move in next few seasons to probably a lower to mid-table top 5 league, I presume, if he's consistently playing, which it seems like he is, sort of. I think this guy probably should go into C. Yeah, I think there. That's probably a good spot. Zamaletdinov, while it is very long, is kind of familiar. His movement and the way he goes about his business is reminiscent of Luis Suarez. Also helped the team to 3rd place in the prestigious Milk Cup. Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty prestigious cup to be fair. So he scored against top sides like Roma, City, and Bayern in the youth league. Right start to last season, scoring a vital Champions League goal at Benfica. Then he joined Lech Poznan on loan from CSKA Moscow. Scored 12 goals for Lech. I'm Polish and all, but that's a little bit of a downgrade, no? He's back at Russia, FK Ufa. Is he scoring goals? Not really. Okay, he's still playing in the Premier League in Russia, but he's not really scoring goals. So, again, another C tier. Put him here, I guess. Serbia's next though, and is this Luka Yovich? Yes. Okay. I think this one's pretty simple. He was labeled as the Serbian Falcao. Had some problems with Red Star at times, then moved to Benfica. Had some problems as well. I think he went like out partying a bunch or clubbing a bunch, which annoyed Benfica. Ended up getting loaned to Eintracht Frankfurt, and they ended up buying him as well at the end of the loan. Scored a boatload of goals for them. Says here 22 goals in the Bundesliga. And was sold to Real Madrid for 60 million euros. And if we stopped right there, you know, you could put that as an S. But we do know how it went for him at Real Madrid. Okay, he's technically back at Real Madrid. His loan ended. So granted, he hasn't lit the world on fire. So that would prevent me from putting him in S. But it's definitely high A. Like, he's at Real Madrid. And while it hasn't worked out for him yet, I don't think he's a flop yet. And just needs more time at least. We got a guy from Singapore. Irfan bin Fandi Ahmad. Your guess is as good as mine. I'll be generous to him. If he's a good player in Singapore, I'll be kind with his rating. So football bosses in Singapore had high hopes for him. Had a good touch at 17 years of age. He was training with clubs in Chile, which is random. Oh, so he had to do like military type service or something like that in 2016. Okay, he got called to the senior national team though in the same year, so that's not too bad. Could have moved to Braga in 2018, but rejected it, saying he felt lonely during the trials and contract was not all it could be. And he was a regular starter in Singapore's national team in 2019 and was playing in the Thai league. He is playing for a club that are in the AFC Champions League at least. What type of player is he? Center back. If he's consistently playing, I'll be kind. Yeah. Oh, this guy's a Instagram page. I mean, looks like he's living the life, to be fair. Fair enough. I mean, just because this guy's living the life, I'll put him there. Fagri Lake. Seems like a bunch of injuries had caused him to not really progress that much. So this guy's scored 9 goals in 24 matches with 4 assists in this league, which is the first tier in South Africa. He hasn't really developed to what he could have been, but he's still playing in his local league at a pretty high level. I mean, I'll put him below De Silva. This guy doesn't really have much info, really. Sometimes brings to mind Shinji Kakao with his quick feet. He had a transfer to go to Belgium, but failed the medical, and playing in the 4th division of Korea. What the hell happened? Like, this description is just like, he's just developing. He's developing. He's in the 4th division of Korea. What? I presume it's this guy. And ever since he left this club in the K3 league, he's joined a club that is unknown to us. My reaction exactly, Robert. What? Yeah, there's like nothing about this guy. So yeah, he literally fell off the face of the earth. Like, where is this man? 3 players here for Spain. Adrian Marin. So he was making first team appearances for Villarreal in 2016 and got knee injuries. He said in 2019, I arrived late and had injuries last year. The year I feel comfortable, my views has changed, and so has my situation. I feel optimistic now. He doesn't really play that much. Okay. Any recent injuries, really? No. I'll say high C, because he's at least in the 1st division of Spain. Julen Orellano. Now we see this as a Barcelona player. I think we know what's going to happen with this guy. He looked up to Gareth Bale, left-footed, exceptional athlete, left Barca in 2015. So he played less games and ended up going to Athletic Bilbao. So he's Basque, cool. He just wants to be a football player who is happy on a personal level and gives everything on the pitch. So he went to Osasuna in 2016. He was supposed to move to Osasuna, but problems with the paperwork, and had an entire year without playing, and a summer where he didn't have a preseason. Didn't make his debut until his birthday. So he's been playing for Osasuna B in the Segunda Division B. This guy's career has been a disaster, wow. He moved to Tudelano in the 3rd tier of Spanish football. Last few years have been difficult, he said after signing, but I believe that here I can find stability and grow. This guy just can't stay at a club. He moved to Calhorra in 2019. Alright, he's retired? So he's retired since 2019. Did he get it like career-ending injury? No injuries. My guess is just this guy just wasn't happy with the sport and just his feeling fulfilled playing football. So he retired due to personal and family reasons. That's unfortunate. That's really sucks. Wow. I mean, he's literally retired. He's literally not playing football anymore. That's just insane. Best wishes to that guy, man. That sucks. Ferran Sarsanedas. So, I'm not gonna have much hopes for this. Let's search up the best Spaniards born in 1997. You have all these guys. So really, if you're not really playing in the 1st division, you're a D player probably, in comparison to all these guys. Barcelona was just not good at this time. Bunch of players were leaving, bunch of players weren't even getting chances at the 1st team. He was likened to Sergio Roberto, able to play a quick one-touch game and with good vision, is still in need of some physical development and occasionally lacking in aggressiveness. He was in Barca B in 2017. Last season was, okay, you got a serious hamstring injury, became Barca B's captain, okay. Oh, okay, he tore his cruciate. Not good. Ferran Sarsanedas, without a club. He just got released this past year. Didn't play at all last season. That's just D. Rename the stream, Barca can't develop youngsters. Yeah, there's several of those on this list. Meniscal injury, which he is still suffering from to this day. So it's like no fault on his own. He was actually developing decently at Barcelona B. Or in Barcelona in general, actually playing game time consistently, and then, yeah, just got an injury. Okay, that's a little sad. Wow, Ansu Fati even commented on this. Wow. I have to put him in D though. No fault of his own, really. That sucks. Hopefully he can recover from his injury. I don't know if it's a career-threatening injury or anything like that. Eric Anderson. He has a picture compared to a lot of people on here who don't. Henrik Larsson saw something in this guy. Completing his 3rd season in Sweden's 2nd division, he joined Malmo. Okay, joined a bunch of clubs. Well, relegated with a club. Okay, so he is playing for Sundsvall in the 2nd division of Sweden. Getting some decent playing time. I mean, nothing wrong with that. He did have a cruciate ligament injury. That probably halted him significantly. That's a bit of a shame for him. It says he only missed 4 games, but of course, recovering from an injury like that is tough physically and mentally. I mean, 2nd division, yeah, I'll put him above Korich, but behind Gimber. Alright, but next up, we got Porky. Ennis Unal. Oh my gosh, I remember this guy. This guy was such a promising talent back then. I remember he made a move to Manchester City. Like a lot of City players back then, they didn't really get a lot of playing time. I think he ended up moving to like Spanish league a bit. I think he's back in Turkey now. He went to Valladolid. Ennis Unal. He's at Getafe. Okay, so that's not too bad. Made a move to Getafe last summer. Getafe didn't have the best season in the world. Played 28 games in La Liga. Not a lot of goals, so it's not the worst thing in the world, I'll be honest. Compared to others, I'll put him above Bonazzoli in B. I think that's solid, honestly. He can still develop into a better goal scorer. Maybe he can get into double figures in his career in the next few years. But we're almost done. Eric Palmer Brown, youngest defender in history to make his debut at 17 years of age, 24 days. Went to Porto B in 2016 or 2015. Graham Zusey, if you remember him, he said he's got all the ability in the world. It's in his hands. Hamstring injuries prevented him getting some more playing time. He joined Manchester City. And he went to one of their feeder clubs, Breda. Went on loan to Austria Vienna. Okay, cool. Let's find out where he is now, because I have not heard his name for the last few years. He's still at Manchester City for some reason. Finished his loan at Vienna. Contract expires in 2022. I presume he's either gonna get another loan next year or make a transfer. I presume he's just gonna get a loan and get released at the end of the season. Played a lot in the Austrian top division, so not too bad, honestly. I'll put it there. I'll put it in C. Yeah, we're gonna move on to our last player from all nations, Vietnam. Phan Tan Hao. I butchered that name significantly, so apologies there. Played an academy in his homeland built by Arsenal, JMG Academy, and a Vietnamese company. They predicted his next move would be to the V-League or Europe. Broke into the first team in 2015, good form in 2016 for the youth team. Played in the Vietnamese league in 2017, but had some injuries. Okay, so all we really know is he had injuries, but he still can break through. Still playing in the Vietnamese league. Is going to be transferring to a different Vietnamese club. Is he consistently playing? Not really. D tier for me. He hasn't really gone up, but he hasn't gone down either, so I think low D is probably fair. This is our tier list. Not many great players on this list, honestly. Holy. Only one player in S tier, 3 in A. Of course, Yuri Tielemans is at the top. We had Jovic, Vlasic, Rubenevich, Ousmane Dembele. We go to the most valuable players born in 1997. I think the highest value is Yuri Tielemans. So we did end up having one player in the top 10 of this. So that's not too bad. Ousmane Dembele in 11th. We are being a bit harsh with Ousmane Dembele. Still, these guys are still 24 years of age. Some can still develop into good players, even stars still. But unfortunately, a lot not too good. But yeah, that's everything.